Okay, I do not know what is going on, but a new message saying that I had to update drivers, that I couldn't live stream, can't live stream, try again. Well, there was no trying again. So, I hope everybody can come over. Hello, Kim, Deacon Blues, Barb in Ohio, Sheepdog, Patriot, Crazy Pots, Alicia DeMoss, and Crazy Pots with a lot of hearts. I did put a message on that other live stream. Hey, Sherry, thank you. Hi, Tom. Super Painting 62, D. Marquis. And Carol. Amber Eyes, hello. I am experiencing a lot of very strange things on the internet these days. Disruption, disruption, disruption. Very, very frustrating when this is your entire life. That's it. Cecilia Amarati, hello. Lindy London and Something to Chew On and Tracy. Mike Luft, Matrix Exit. Lynn, hello. Rage Against the Machine, hi. Agnes, hello. Maria, hello. Hello, hello. Okay. Don't know if everybody got the message that I left, but maybe they will. Oracle 11, hello. DeMarque, hello. Michael Griffin. Katie Won't Go. It wouldn't surprise me, Katie Won't Go. The moon is traveling in the opposite direction. Seems like everything is opposite today. Don't you think? Yeah, I think. All right. Louisiana. Texas. Louisiana. Okay. And this doesn't look good. This trail. This, what do they call it? It's training. It's training precipitation. Training. Supercells ignite. Indiana. North Ohio. Into Pennsylvania. But Louisiana, this doesn't look good. And in fact, Ryan Hall is on it, doing a live about tornadoes. And this doesn't look good here in Texas. Neither does this new manifestation of a tail. Yes, our storms have tails now. A lot of supercell activation. Day after the eclipse. Not a day goes by that is not exciting, right? Look at this. This is not good in Texas. I guess that's just north of Houston. Where are these supercells going to be going? And this has been going since yesterday. But it traveled a bit north. And it just seems to be, well, stationary in the panhandle of Texas. Oh, this is worrisome. This is worrisome. All right. I actually only have one window open tonight. One. But I'm going to be going through playlists that I have that were recovered when they gave me back Never Lose Truth. But Ryan Hall is on it, and isn't Colleen in Texas? I think it is. I think it is. I'm not going to play any of it. I will post the link. Any of you in this area, you might want to keep a very close eye on what is going on. Oh boy. Well, you know, the way our life is going, someone has to suffer the consequences every day, right? Of the mass destruction, the weapons of mass destruction. Ohio rivers are getting very high, flash flooding central Ohio.
Today, Central Ohio residents dealing with the impacts of a powerful storm.
And the heavy rain creating headaches for drivers with water still covering some roads.
We're continuing to watch that water creep up, and that's what we're keeping a very close eye on.
We thank you for joining us today for NBC 4 at 5. I'm Jared Smalley.
I'm Jennifer Bullock. Tuesday's storms are long gone, but rising floodwaters are still causing problems locally. Statewide, there are at least 100 road closures.
The Department of Transportation says I-70 and State Route 79 in Licking County are currently areas of big concern. NBC 4's Eric Halperin is there to show us what's going on now. Eric?
Oh, more interstate concerns. Are they going to be closing down I-70 because of flooding in Ohio? I will post the link for you guys in Ohio. And I really hope the waters recede. That would be nice, right? Yes. Okay, so, all right. Thank you, concerned citizen. I was kind of thinking it was a little weird. In fact, when I take my very, very old Sony Handycam out and I'm able to get very close-up shots of the moon, I think something's wrong. Yeah, so hundreds of people captured images of solar flares on their camera phones during the eclipse. So the sun is 91 million miles away, and you expect me to believe that an iPhone Samsung can record a solar flare? Okie dokie. That's right. Oh, a solar flare. You see it? Here it is. Oh my God, I caught a solar flare. Oh, solar flare. Look at this. They were so huge that they were captured on smartphones. Yeah. So, you know, sometimes you just get really tired. So I haven't really organized anything. But the madness, well, it's just pure madness now. You know, do I really have to organize all of the news? Well, it helps me, but I just didn't today. I'm flippin' tired. Some solar eclipse glasses have been recalled. Here's what to know. Oh, an anti-Semitic flyer is found in Lincoln Park. And this is live, so I can't shut it off, can I? No. Okay, so due to a potential safety concern, certain eclipse glasses from Amazon may have received an email from the online retailer saying that glasses are in fact not safe to view the eclipse in, and that the packaging label of AAS approved is in fact incorrect. Oh my God, what are you gonna do? This came out at 12:42 yesterday. The eclipse was already taking place. And I don't think that an awful lot of people were checking the news. So, how many people were wearing recalled eclipse glasses? Affected product. Binicky Solar Eclipse Glasses. AAS approved. CE and ISO certified safe shields for direct sun viewing. It's a 6-pack. The product listed above was not included in the American Astronomical Society's list of safe suppliers of solar eclipse viewers and filters, and therefore may not be safe for viewing a solar eclipse. The note went on to suggest that customers who purchase the glasses should not use them to view Monday's solar eclipse. Published April 8, Monday. Updated 12:42 p.m. Viewing the solar eclipse without proper eyewear can result in irreversible eye damage within seconds, as your eyes lack the nerve endings to register pain as it's occurring. Oh my God. What's going to happen? What is going to happen to so many people buying those glasses? Las Vegas attorney kills 2.
Gunshots in the building. Officers arrived on scene in very quick fashion. As the sheriff briefed out earlier today, we treated it as an active shooter where we deployed multiple teams into the building along with fire department to see if there was an actual active shooter. Fortunately, we were able to see that the scene was located in in one specific suite, that's Suite 560, which is the Prince Law Group. As officers went into that suite, they located the scene of the shooting, and they located our 3 deceased victims. One deceased victim is a female in her 30s. Another one is a male in his 50s. Our suspect is also deceased here on scene, and he is a male in his 70s. What we learned from the initial briefing is very similar to what has already been reported on the papers, is that there were 7 people here taking part in a deposition inside the Prince Law Group. 3 of them represented one party, 3 of them represented the other part, and 1 was a court reporter. Shortly into the deposition, approximately 3 to 4 minutes, the suspect stood up and began opening fire on the 2 victims across the table from him. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, they are deceased. They're on scene here, and the suspect is deceased also. The other people who were in the room at the time of the shooting, thankfully, were able to quickly get away.
Katie won't go, but Katie, you're going because you can't deal with this crisis actor crap. You think nobody died? You think nobody shot anything? You think they're just making all of this up? I don't anymore. I think Americans are flippin' violently crazy. But I guess you're gonna go. You gotta change your username then. We cannot cope. Police Scotland deluged with politicized hate crime reports. It was like within the first 24 hours, they got 7,000 reports since their hate crime bill went into effect April 1st. And it wasn't an April Fool's Day joke. And entirely as predicted, Police Scotland deluged politically driven hate crime reports. We cannot cope. Didn't see this coming, Police Scotland? Under the new legislation, anyone deemed to have been verbally abused in person or online to a transgender person, including insulting them, could be hit with a prison sentence of up to 7 years. Okay, well, I actually think that that's good that they were deluged with all of these reports, because they might repeal. Maybe they'll repeal, or maybe they'll just say to hell with it. Maybe we should go back to actually investigating real crime. How's about it? And isn't it odd? Homeless citizens sleeping on the streets. Isn't it odd?
Isn't it odd that the homeless citizens of Chicago are put on the streets in these tents, while the people who broke into America illegally are put in the high-rise hotels in the city of downtown Chicago? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's odd. It's criminal. It is. Dollar Tree shoppers revolt over $7 items. The Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree went to $1.25, and then it went to $1.50. And then it was a real shock, because the Dollar Tree has always been $1 for everything in the store. So, $1.25, I didn't have a problem with that. All right, you got inflation. $1.50, I didn't even have a problem with that. No problem. There's only a couple of items that I actually can't get anywhere else, but I can find them at the Dollar Tree. So, I was kind of taken aback with $3.50. $5 for items. Now they're up to $7. And if it were really going up to $7, that'd be too much. I'd rather just get everything at Walmart. Things are changing, guys. Our life is changing. FDA finally takes down ivermectin posts after settlement. Yeah. Ivermectin. How about the FDA? The Post, Instagram, you're not a horse. Stop it with the ivermectin. It's not authorized. On Twitter, hold your horses, y'all. Ivermectin may be trending, but it still isn't authorized or approved. They have to take it down. Part of their settlement. The lying sacks of shit in our government. They're all over. Insurers spy on houses via aerial imagery, seeking reasons to cancel coverage. This is going on, guys. I hope that you don't have anything around your home that could get your insurance canceled using satellites, drones, manned airplanes, and even high-altitude balloons. You're kidding. Insurance companies using high-altitude balloons, aren't they afraid that people might want to shoot them down, or think that China is sending over yet more spy balloons? Okay, well, it's all to spy on properties they cover with homeowner policies, and using the findings to drop customers, often without giving any opportunity to address the alleged shortcomings. We've seen a dramatic increase across the country in reports from consumers who've been dropped by their insurers on the basis of an aerial image. United Policy Holders Executive Director Amy Bach said that reasons can range from shoddy roofing to yard clutter and undeclared trampolines. Undeclared trampolines? You have to declare your trampoline to your insurance company? So, what if I got a trampoline and something happened to the trampoline, and on the list of damages I just didn't put the trampoline? Undeclared trampolines. Well, if your roof is 20 years old and one hailstorm is going to take it off, you should pay more than somebody with a brand new roof. That's the CEO of Allstate, Tom Wilson. He's unapologetic and ominously adding that where the company's use of digital imagery is concerned, there's even more to come. Get used to it. A California resident, Cindy Picos, who was dropped by CSAA Insurance last month with the company saying aerial imagery revealed that her roof had aged beyond its life expectancy. She paid for an inspection of her own, which found the roof was good for another decade. CSAA wasn't impressed and said its decision was final. The firm also refused to share its photos, though it now says it's changed that policy and will let customers see them if they ask. CJ Seven was dropped by AAA homeowners insurance after their stealth reconnaissance, discovered clutter in his yard. He said he uses his yard as a workshop. Clutter isn't just about aesthetics. It could present a fire hazard. Oy, oy, oy. So, a former Michigan Farmers Insurance agent, Nicole Brink, said she quit the company last year over her concern that it was aggressively using aerial imagery to chase off customers and even use shots that were 2 or 3 years old. It's like they're using anything as an excuse to get people off their books. And last year, State Farm said it would no longer issue new homeowner policies in California. Then in March, the company took the more draconian step by opting not to renew 72,000 properties and commercial apartment policies. 72,000. Wow. That's a lot of people having to find insurance. And are they going to find insurance with what they were paying? No. It's going to be much more expensive. U.S. small business optimism slides to an 11-year low as Bidenomics fails. We are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Okay. Paul Craig Roberts, a former Assistant Secretary of the Treasury under Reagan, America has a third world economy. Now, I understand that a whole lot of you know full well, but you need, I think, reminders, and I'm here to do that for you. Friday's job report, the financial press tells us, blew past projections with a monthly jobs gain of 303,000 compared to the 231,000 average over the past year. The Biden economy is gathering steam. That Barron's report. Wow, Barron's, you do unbelievable reporting. Not. In actual fact, the jobs report shows that the United States is continuing its collapse into third worldism. A first world economy is characterized by high productivity, high value added manufacturing and industrial jobs. A third world economy is characterized by low productivity service and government jobs. See the difference? And as Paul Craig Roberts has been reporting for 30 years, the U.S. has transitioned from the first to the third world. The jobs report shows that in March, America lost jobs in primary metal manufacturing, fabricated metal product manufacturing, machinery manufacturing, computer and electronic product manufacturing, computer and peripheral equipment manufacturing, communications equipment manufacturing, semiconductor and other electronic component manufacturing, electrical equipment, appliance and component manufacturing, furniture and related product manufacturing, food manufacturing, textile manufacturing, apparel manufacturing, plastics and rubber products manufacturing, leather and allied product manufacturing. And how could anybody think that our economy is okay? The really self-centered narcissist will believe it's okay because they're okay. You know, they're still okay. And they don't want to hear that so many people are hurting and really need help. Right? Okay. 190,000 of the jobs were in the service sector. Service sector. 71,000 in government. Government has become very enormous. We were supposed to have limited government, but hey. 86% of the jobs gained reflect the third world pattern. The service jobs are in wholesale and retail trade, healthcare, social assistance, waitressing, and bartending. Yeah. The high-tech jobs we were promised in exchange for offshoring U.S. manufacturing industry are hardly visible and certainly did not provide opportunities for displaced manufacturing workers. Moreover, most tech jobs, AI, robotics, software programs, are aimed at displacing humans from the workforce. The offshoring of U.S. manufacturing destroyed the middle class, state and local government budgets, and the ladders of upward mobility concentrated the wealth of the country in 1% of the population. That 1% itself is a massively wide wealth range from 11 million to 200,000 million, which are certainly not comparable wealth positions. The difference is the same as between $11 and $200,000. American wealth is concentrated in the hands of multi-billionaires who comprise 1/10 of 1% or less of the population. Telltale sign of a third world economy is the concentration of wealth in the hands of a tiny minority. In the United States, we call that democracy. And an increase in third world jobs is misrepresented as economic progress. They will never stop lying to us unless we all unite and demand the truth. Well, hey. Do you see this? Now, I've posted videos on this woman. Dalton, Illinois. This mayor is so grossly corrupt. Her own board of trustees in the town have called on Lori Lightfoot to do an investigation at $400 an hour. Oh my God. Oh, Lori, how long is this investigation going to go on? I bet it's going to go on a long time so that you make an awful lot of money. Former mayor of Chicago. And what did you do to Chicago? Boy, you accelerated the destruction from 0 to 60 in a flat second. Henyard. Tiffany Henyard. It is. What a joke we are, man. What a joke we are. She's been appointed by the trustees of Dalton. Well, I think your pick, trustees, doesn't show that you really know what you're doing. Lightfoot will get to work right away. I'm sure you will. $400 an hour. Oh, wow. Residents say squatters are terrorizing their Brooklyn neighborhood. Okay, I'll say it again. Squatters are criminals. Why do states have legislation that give them rights? Everybody, if you have, I think Florida is the only one that has now made it criminal to squat. Okay, well, I always say to be proactive and get your state legislatures to pass legislation or to repeal this squatting, repeal the squatting rights completely. No, it's breaking in entry. Wow, this is, talk about having a whacked out country.
Boarded up windows, shattered glass, and trash everywhere, all the result of squatters in the place. And people living in this Brooklyn neighborhood say not even the police can help. CBS 2's Ali Bauman with the story now from Dyker Heights.
Dirty dishware, idle ATMs. This property on 67th Street in Dyker Heights looks like the worst yard sale you've ever seen. Neighbors say it's been like this for months, ever since a group of squatters moved in.
We feel unsafe.
Neighbors say last summer, one of the alleged squatters destroyed their security camera with a piece of plywood. A few months later, another neighbor caught them taking water from her hose through a hole in the fence.
I saw the hose that was connected to my water fountain to that side there, and I disconnected that.
But they kept going down the block.
They turn on the water and use the garbage bin, steal from us, and then hold it to them.
The situation intensified in November when the house caught fire. Police arrested 46-year-old Cheng Chen for arson and criminal trespassing. But it was just the first of 3 fires at this house as recently as last month.
The police came. They cannot do nothing, they said.
I spoke to the property owner off camera, who told me he moved out of the house a couple years ago to renovate it with the hopes of one day moving back in. He says he's still paying $6,000 a month on the mortgage, and these fires have caused more than $900,000 worth of damages.
I have an empty apartment upstairs. I don't know if they can come through the back and decide to want to squat around my apartment there too.
Now that the house is boarded up, the owner says he doesn't know how often the squatters are here or when they'll come back.
You have to prove you are there, live there for 30 days. The claim is theirs. How the police going to do?
Since squatting is a civil matter and hard to criminally prosecute, there's no recorded data of how big of a problem this actually is. City Council member Susan Schwang is crafting a bill to change that.
Try to get the city agency like NYPD to collect those type of data when people report and then do further analysis.
Until then, she and many of the neighbors here are urging the state legislature to re-examine New York's rights for squatters. In Dyker Heights, Brooklyn,
Re-examine. Repeal. Repeal. And when I look at these homes, right, and what these squatters are doing, not just in Brooklyn, but in an awful lot of places, you have to wonder if this is intentional, if these squatters are actually being paid, by some organization to just create an awful lot of chaos and heartache for the people in the communities. So Norfolk Southern, Norfolk, My brain is leaving me. The fat lady has really been warming up, hasn't sung yet, but as my brain leaves me, she's gonna sing. Pays $600 million to East Palestine over toxic train derailment. $600 million, that's it? No. Paid to East Palestine. Huh. Will the people see the money? How about the people in Pennsylvania who were also greatly affected by this? To settle a class action lawsuit over the toxic train derailment, eastern Ohio, causing nearly half of the town's population to evacuate, and a whole lot of people got sick. So, it's pending court approval. It would resolve all class action claims from within a 20-mile radius from the derailment. For the residents who agree to the settlement, personal injury claims within a 10-mile radius. I think that's not enough. Have they cleaned up the rivers? No. There's still a whole lot of toxins in the rivers, in the soil. Look at this. And I bet a whole lot of people said, yes, okay, let's settle, because they desperately need money. Get people when they're down, you can really rip them off. Why are so many people sick? Should it be investigated? I'm going to post the link if you want to watch this. But don't we know why so many people are sick? I'm going to get to it in a second. But we are now just we're not just the people of the lie, but we are the people of the toxic lie. Australian military refuses to disclose arms deal with Israel to protect its reputation.
Harm Australia's international standing and reputation, which suggests the details must be pretty damning. Equally as scandalous, this refusal.
You might not have heard the very beginning, but the agency has refused a FOIA request to turn over the documents.
Was reportedly made in consultation with the Israeli government. In an article titled Details of Defense Deal with Israel Kept Under Wraps to Protect Australia's Reputation, the ABC's Andrew Green details how the Australian military snubbed a Freedom of Information request by the Australian Greens regarding a Memorandum of Understanding between Australia and Israel that was signed in 2017. The document within the scope of this request contains information which, if released, could reasonably be expected to damage the international relations of the Commonwealth, the Defense Department said in a letter explaining its rejection. A summary provided by the Australian Information Commissioner to the Greens revealed that the Israeli government was also consulted about releasing the document before Defense ultimately rejected the FOI request, the ABC reports. The document contains information communicated to Australia by a foreign government and its officials under the expectation that it would not be disclosed, a defense official wrote in justification of its decision. Greens Senator David Shoebridge objected, saying, "There is no place for secret arms treaties and secret arms deals between countries, and there is certainly no place for giving other countries veto power over what the Australian government tells the public about our government's defense and arms deals."
I will put the link in. You can listen to the remainder. It's governments just do whatever the hell they want to do. They could have redacted some of the information that they claim, oh, we can't release that, but we're not going to release it. So here, devout Catholic Biden disagrees with Pope's declaration that gender ideology is deeply harmful. Yeah, he disagrees. How could any adult disagree? All right, I'll play this. Audio only. This is on en route to Madison, Wisconsin, aboard Air Force One, and Karine Jean-Pierre is answering a reporter's question, and we know we've got to listen to those answers because, well, I forgot why.
Document that states gender affirming operations risk, quote, threatening the unique dignity the person has received from the moment of conception, and also denounces attempts to obscure, quote, the sexual difference between man and woman. Obviously, the president is a devout Catholic. I'm wondering if he has seen that document and if he has any comments on it.
I'll say this. So we are pleased to see that the document you just mentioned, Tyler, furthered the Vatican's call to ensure that LGBTQ plus are protected from violence and imprisonment around the world. However, the president will continue to be an advocate for the rights, safety, and dignity of the LGBTQ plus community, including transgender people here in the U.S., and not just here in the U.S., but also around the world. And I just don't have anything else to add.
What about the more specific comments about gender theory and transgender individuals?
I'm going to be really careful, and the president's role to litigate internal church policy. That's not his role, so I'm going to be super careful there. But I can speak to the president's stance, and he's always been very clear on the importance of protecting or having protections for the transgender community and the broader LGBTQ plus community, and that's been very clear since day one of his administration.
And just one more on.
Life, man. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? Yeah. Around the world. He's going to protect those rights around the world. How about just, I don't know, focusing on the United States for a little while? Half a day. Half a day out of a week. A month. Okay? How about that? And how about focusing... forget it. That's right. It's gone. Zelensky warns Russia has penetrated U.S. politics and invites Trump to Ukraine. He invites Trump to Ukraine. Do people actually consider this guy a world leader? Do they consider him a leader? Zelensky? But as this is an election year, oh boy, get ready. It's going to be quite the ride. Who gives a shit what Zelensky says? A coke-snorting transvestite actor who has lied repeatedly and launders US dollars to buy more homes for himself. Why do we let this corruption just go on day after day after day? Michigan school shooter's parents sentenced to 10 years in prison for not stopping a runaway train. The first parents convicted in a U.S. mass shooting, school shooting, sentenced to at least 10 years, it could be 15. These convictions, this is what the judge said, these convictions are not about poor parenting. They're not. Really? These convictions confirm repeated acts or lack of acts that could have halted an oncoming runaway train. That to me sounds like poor parenting. You need somebody to edit what you're going to be saying in court. Scratch that sentence. Okay. Jennifer and James Crombley did not know Ethan Crombley had a handgun. He called it his beauty in a backpack when he was dropped off at Oxford High School, but prosecutors convinced jurors the parents still played a disastrous role in violence. The Crombleys were accused of not securing the newly purchased gun at home and acting indifferently to signs of Ethan's deteriorating mental health, especially when confronted with a chilling classroom drawing earlier that day. That same day, the Crombleys earlier this year were convicted of involuntary manslaughter. And those parents who lost children, the blood of our children is on your hands. James and Jennifer. Is it Jennifer? Jennifer. Ethan Crombley sketched this is the son, sketched images of a gun, a bullet, and a wounded man on a math paper. Wrote this, "The thoughts won't stop, help me, blood everywhere, my life is useless." Ethan had told a counselor he was sad. A grandmother had died and his only friend suddenly had moved away, but said the drawing only reflected his interest in creating video games. His parents were called to a hasty meeting at school that lasted less than 15 minutes. They did not mention that the gun resembled one James Crombley had purchased. The gun in the painting resembled the one that his father purchased 4 days earlier. School staff did not demand that Ethan go home, but were surprised when the Crombleys did not volunteer it. Why didn't the school staff demand he go home? Don't you think the school staff is also responsible? Instead, they left, the Crombleys left with a list of mental health providers and said they were returning to work. Later that day, on November 30, 2021, their son pulled a handgun from his backpack, began shooting, and killed these students. So the Crombleys ignored, quote, things that would make a reasonable person feel the hair on the back of their neck stand up. Opportunity knocked over and over again, louder and louder, and was ignored. No one answered. Well, the school was also knocked, right? She blamed the school. This is Jennifer, the mother. She blamed the school for not giving her the bigger picture about Ethan. Sleeping in class, watching a video of a mass shooting, writing negative thoughts about his family. The prosecution has tried to mold us into the type of parents society wants to believe are so horrible only a school or mass shooter could be bred from. She said, "We were good parents. We were the average family." Well, the average family in America thinks, the head of the family, they think they're good parents. Thinking and being are two different things. The judge, over defense objections, allowed the jury to see excerpts from his journal, which he wrote, "I have zero help for my mental problems, and it's causing me to shoot up the school. I want help, but my parents don't listen to me, so I can't get any help." Relatives of the victims were not impressed. It said that the parents were portraying themselves as victims. The remorse that they were showing has nothing to do with taking accountability for their actions. I'm sure they were sad. People lost their lives. I'm sure they're sad their son is in jail. Sad they're in jail. What's important is for them to recognize that they made mistakes. What do you think? What do you think? Now, we have had horrible parenting in our country, only getting worse, not getting any better, throughout my entire life. If you're going to hold the parents accountable for what the son did, the school also had an awful lot of information. Why not hold those in that school accountable as well? Now, an awful lot is kind of, you don't hear about what was going on with that. Now, it could have been the parents. They could have been good parents, for all we know. That's the truth. You know, unless you're there witnessing their parenting with their son, we don't know. You can't know. And that's why it's so important for all of us to live honestly and speak honestly. Yeah, but we do know that there's a lot of real bad parenting setting kids on a trajectory to become just people who cause a whole lot of people a lot of heartache, a lot of headaches, a lot of heartache. Verse 1, will more be coming? Yeah. This is a good way for government to intrude in the family. Parents, what's going to come of this? Well, Michigan, we all know, has already gone communist. So will people be showing up, those government officials at families, you know, doing checks on all parents who have children? That could come from this. The government offered to buy my guns from me, but after a thorough background check of the buyer, I am not comfortable with selling weapons to organized crime. I'll keep my guns, thank you. Good quote. Good quote. I want to leave Canada. My brother moved to Costa Rica, had enough of all the bullshit up here, the endless taxes, cost of living. We are all extorted for our wealth here. I'm going to visit and scope it out. I'd rather live a simple life than be a tax farm slave. I understand. 1 in 3 Zoomers have no income. 1 in 3 Zoomers. Is that the Gen Z? It's got to be the Gen Z, because the generation after them, they're still too young. Okay, so Gen Zs are called the Zoomers? I don't know if I'm right about that. 1 in 3. This is the world that we all left them. Pretty shitty. And, you know, when you read this article, it sounds like, well, they just don't want to do anything, and bullshit. I have been posting on the economy for years and years and years. We know that the economy it's gone. It's collapsed already. And these kids, young adults, have no hope and no future. And a whole lot of them know it. And there's only so many service jobs available. Birmingham Southern College lays off 213 employees without severance pay. Sorry, no funds available. This is in Alabama. 200 people are expected to lose their jobs without severance pay from Birmingham Southern College. that closes in 2 months. There are colleges, the small colleges are closing all over the country. Now, the colleges are crap. We all know that. And these kids that are thinking they're going to have a future, having a college degree, if you're out there listening, scrap it, okay? There are no jobs. There are no jobs for you. The economy is tanking. It's tanked. Now it's kind of going, well, let's just say the economy is 3 feet under and we're still digging to get to that 6 foot depth. Get a trade job. Try to do something in your community with friends, or do something, but don't go to college. Plus the fact that education, that tanked a long time ago. Who should compete in women's sports? Let me see. Women athletes. I didn't get the correct answer. We're doing this, okay? This only shows how pathetic our country has become. How unbelievably pathetic that this has been going on for years. Girls, women are being erased. When you can just allow a man that identifies as a woman onto a girls' team or a women's team, and then walk away with all of the medals, and you think that that's okay. Okay. I've never been one to hear insanity gracefully. Ever wonder why kids didn't shoot up schools back then? Because they were raised to respect God, their parents, and their country. And they weren't subjected to very dangerous electromagnetic frequencies staring at a phone. They were not put on medications when they're young children, before the age of 10. They weren't put on SSRIs or Ritalin or Adderall and then more medications. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. A whole lot of very obvious reasons. So, that list, no. So social order could collapse in AI era. 2 top Japanese companies say they're calling for new laws to restrain generative AI. I tried to find this article on other sites, but it keeps putting me back to the Wall Street Journal, which has a paywall, and I ain't signing up. But I don't think we needed AI to collapse social order, because it's been collapsing for decades and decades, and we did fine without AI. AI, though, is going to bring in something. Imagine the worst violent nightmare, or something unimaginable. That's what's coming. But yeah, we did a fine job ourselves. We didn't need AI. Social order, people did it. So, my playlist which I can't believe that I just last night after my live, I thought, well, check out your playlist just to see. No, I did it actually with Trump, my Trump playlist. So, yeah, living under communism, Nazi regimes, 15 videos. Coronavirus, oh, they're taking off all of my videos regarding COVID, regarding this. So, still 91 videos left. I had a whole lot of videos on that. And I still get notifications from YouTube. We're sorry. But this video is misinformation, and so we're taking it down. Unbelievably, they're not hitting with community guideline strikes anymore. But maybe they recognize, well, we took the channel down because of misinformation. Now we gave it back to her. What are we going to just keep hitting her with community guideline strikes for videos that we have now put back onto YouTube? That seems a little... But I don't think that we have human beings thinking like that on YouTube, so I don't know what the hell is going on. For all I know, this channel could come down in a heartbeat, as Never Lose Truth 5 can as well. So, what do I have here? I have Kafka Winston World videos. I don't even remember posting this.
Hi guys, South Carolina, December 19, 2013. Who could pop December 19, 2013?
2013.
Well, I don't know. Who could possibly look at this and say that this is a normal sky? But I guess there are people that can do that. Wow, they must be having a really sweet life. But I just saw a couple of videos on this mystery illness that apparently is taking out the strong. Not the elderly, not the young, but the healthy and the strong. The mystery illness that apparently is not just in Texas, but is in other parts of the country.
You see how long how long we've been dealing with all of this? This is 2013. 9 years ago. 9 years ago, guys. I mean, oh boy. And I still, in 2013, that's right, Kafka Winston World went down, I think in 2014. Said I had a lot more videos, but no, I guess I don't. Alert. United Nations evidence points to rebels, not Assad, but the USA using those weapons. Those chemical, the chemical warfare. Yeah, we do it and then we blame somebody else. So that's weird. It says I have 14, but I don't have 14. So, targeted individuals, very important, right? 5G microwave frequencies, Wi-Fi, health effects, very important. So targeted individuals, wow. Meet the targeted individual community, targeted individuals, some of my experiences, targeted individuals, the science, targeted individuals, perception versus psychological warfare, CIA, Dr. Robert Duncan. I felt so bad for, oh God, I can't even, oh, and Memory Hole blog. Let's see if that channel is still up. Wow, it is.
It's what the
this Myron May, the first of 3 videos made by attorney Myron May 1 or 2 days prior to November 20th, 2014 shooting at Florida State University. And he talks about his targeting, and as far as I'm concerned, it was a very gentle human being.
heavy heart that I am in front of you now to make this video. Kind of my last words. It's really unfortunate that I have to make this video. You see, I am a victim of covert harassment and electronic harassment and gang stalking. I'm what's called a targeted individual. There are thousands of targeted individuals in the United States of America, and we unfortunately are subjected to some pretty heinous treatment, which I'll detail in this video. You can find out more about what a targeted individual is simply by Googling or YouTubing the words targeted individual or gang stalking, and you'll see the videos and postings and articles and stuff like that about what a targeted individual is. And on YouTube, you'll actually hear the stories of other targeted individuals, the videos that they posted about what their experiences are. They won't be that different from what you hear from me today. I think mine might be a little bit more comprehensive in explaining exactly what a targeted individual is and what a targeted individual experiences on a day-to-day basis. So I'll just go straight to it. Talking about gang stalking in general, which is what a targeted individual experiences. The goal of gang stalking is literally to drive a targeted individual crazy. It's a very comprehensive program, and sadly it's a government program. Its roots are in programs known as MK Ultra and COINTELPRO, which should have been eliminated, but unfortunately they are still around. They're not only still around, but they're actually far more comprehensive and more detailed than they were even when those programs were popular. But like I said, the goal is literally to isolate the person, make them destitute and financially unstable to the point where they can't take care of themselves. Many targeted individuals live in homeless shelters and on the street. And they employ various tactics to accomplish their goal of destroying targeted individuals. The most common experience that you'll hear is, and why the term gang stalking comes about, is because they'll have people follow you around. Whenever you go into public places, like if you're driving on the street, people in cars will follow you around, and they make themselves very known that they're there and they are present and they are looking at you. If you go any public place, like going shopping or anything like that, they'll follow you around the stores. And as sick as this may sound, I've even had stalkers follow me into church while I was in Las Cruces and in Houston. I've had stalkers follow me into church to harass me. That's how sick this program is. It's literally to keep the targeted individual agitated, stressed out, and never really have their mind at ease to make them paranoid. They employ isolation tactics. They basically try to convince your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers that they should be keeping an eye on you for whatever reason. They do this. Some of them they pay off to keep an eye on you, to look at you in strange ways. They do this through blackmail. They'll blackmail individuals into stalking you and harassing you, looking at you. And they do this to people who actually are real criminals. Targeted individuals are typically just regular Joes, everyday, ordinary, innocent people. And somehow we've ended up on this ungodly, evil list of people who have their lives literally destroyed on a day-to-day basis. Another way that they coerce everyday citizens into participating in harassing targeted individuals is that they'll tell them lies like you're under investigation for something, or you've committed a crime, or they should keep an eye on you because you're crazy. And as you can see right now, I am totally not crazy. I'm completely sane, but they've employed these tactics against me as well to try to make me appear to be a crazy person. To the targeted individual who hasn't yet discovered that they're a targeted individual or doesn't know exactly what it means to be a targeted individual, this experience can be pretty troubling because all you do is you just notice that people are paying extra attention to you. People are staring at you in strange ways and stuff like that. And that can make you very uneasy naturally. There's a saying that people do anything for money. And basically, if they're doing it not only for money, but also based on a lie, it's weird because they get this sort of altruistic thing because they think they're helping to prevent crime or something like that. So they have that altruistic feeling, plus they get money for it. But what they don't realize is that many of those people are just participating in an evil, ungodly program that's designed to debilitate people like me, everyday, ordinary citizens. And to be honest, it's just not fair because we didn't do anything to end up on this list. Eventually, due to the targeted individual's own fear and apprehension, as well as his friends, coworkers' apprehension that's been given to them in a false way, the targeted individual starts to withdraw and isolates himself, and he's alone, and that basically helps them to continue with the gang stalking program, which is designed to destroy them. So I'm going to talk about some of the particular gang stalking methods that are utilized to harass targeted individuals.
All right, so I'm going to put the link in, though it's a link to the playlist. You can get the playlist just by going to Never Lose Truth. I'm not sure that link is going to work, but, oh boy. Brings me back. Sure does bring me back. So he's got part 3, part 2, part 1. This is part 1. They destroy lives. Piezoelectric technology and how it affects targeted individuals. Targeted individuals speak. Democrat claims electromagnetic assault, gang stalking, and mind control through phones and satellite. Good information for targeted individuals. PSYOPs, Black Ops, must see. Hope for targeted individuals for peace of mind. How a targeted individual is profiled, psychological profiling, targeted individuals. Prominent psychopaths, the Nazi hunt, targeted individuals. The big picture, why, what, how. NSA whistleblower Karen Stewart exposes targeted individuals. Surviving electronic harassment. U.S. Army intelligence officer Julianne McKinney on targeted individuals, gang stalking. This is very real. And people's lives are being so destroyed And an awful lot who speak, they get judged by people as if they're crazy. That's not a very nice thing to do. Who put you in this program? Malignant narcissism and gang stalking. Betrayed by family. Community is the answer. Yeah, well, yeah. So all of these are 8 years, 9 years, 11 years. All of these videos. Security company and Amazon experiments on Seattle's homeless with frequency weapons. Mind control and subliminal silent sound broadcasts used upon citizens and targeted individuals. The Stasi and New World Order. An ex-gang stalking operative explains tactics and motives. The use of microwaves to control minds explains bizarre, violent, immature behavior of Americans. That was 5 years ago I posted that. Dr. Charles Morgan on psychoneurobiology and war. Dr. James Giordano, the brain is the battlefield. Mind control. Oh boy, it's you just go through years and years and years and years. You do a tremendous amount of research, and it got you nowhere. Backstabbing and betrayal. Targeted individuals. Must see Stephen Shellen's The Spark, his life as a targeted individual. And I have to say, when I watched that movie of his, it was, yeah. What happened to my life? What happened to my life? But I identified with so much of what Stephen Shellen had gone through. And, of course, 5 years ago, Never Lose Truth. The time to face the truth. It's time to face the truth. You do not live in the U.S. You live in East Germany. Brain is battlefield. Cop killer ranted about ultrasonic weapons. We have no clue what the hell is going on. You know, when I mean, you're talking 9 years ago, 7 years ago, but that's just on my playlist. We're also talking 20 years ago. We're talking 25 years ago. Do you think that they improved a lot of their weapons? For sure. For sure. Now they hijack our DNA, they hijack, you know, what's inside us and use the energy as if we're just technobots walking around in life. Barry Trower and Mark Steele. Hard proof of mass mind control in America. I'll put the list, the link to the playlist in the chat. But when we are talking about just general, the general populace, or, you know, people not waking up, people who are awake, we can talk about certain characteristics that are very obvious to us. But when we're talking about individuals, it's very hard because we don't know them. We don't know what has gone on. You know, we see behaviors That people who were just walking around with bricks busting out people's car windows. I mean, we're seeing the type of behavior that we didn't see before. Now we're also watching the fall of a very privileged country. I don't care what color your skin is. We have been an exceedingly privileged people. Does that mean everybody lived a fabulous life? No. But no other country in history has had a middle class as strong as the United States. Well, that's gone. It's gone. Okay. So we're watching the fall. See, this is where I have difficulty because I need definitive proof. I need definitive evidence to say this is what is causing it. Well, now you can't because there's way too much going on. We have all of the foods that have just been taken over and are poisonous. The water is poisonous. The air, look at what we're breathing in. We're also breathing in nanobots. We're breathing in, smart dust and all nanodust and yes, they can control us. They can control us. So who out there? Yes, I actually do have those videos. When we see all of this, all of the crazy parents who, oh yes, my child at 2 months old knew that she was a boy. When we see this, are we looking at a people that have literally been taken over? So mind-controlled. And unfortunately mind-controlled in a way that they are a danger to all of us. They are a danger to their children for sure. But when you have so many people like this, you're trapped. When you can't figure out what is going on, why? When you look at Myron May and you listen to part 2 and part 3 as well. This man was so sane. And then he goes and shoots up onto a Florida college or university, and he's shot and killed. This is no joke. This is no joke. This should not be taken lightly. And when you hear people say, and they might even say it in a rather like frightened way that they're targeted, give them the respect of listening. Certainly if you're awake, and maybe you didn't do the research yourself, but others have done it for you, and you know what can happen to people. It is very hard to live a destroyed life with so many people attacking you, and you can't find solace anywhere. That's kind of like the last nail in the coffin. So if we, even though we can't stop the agendas, we can help one another, we can support one another, right? And the other playlist is the, yeah. 268 videos on the electromagnetic frequency dangers. SSSS, the operational mind control system the U.S. government uses against the world. It's only 4 minutes. Let's just play it for a second.
Hi everyone, it is July 13, 2020, when Obama was campaigning and talking about updating our broadband, getting broadband to places where it had never been, and the switch. All those who had the analog, they had to switch to digital. Well, guess what? There was a reason. SSSS, Silent Sound Spread Spectrum. I'm not going to read the whole article. I'll link below to it. The Department of Defense called it Silent Sound Spread Spectrum. Goes by the name of S-Squad or Squad. In the private sector, the technology goes by the name... Always changing my color scheme. Goes by the name of Silent Subliminal Presentation System, and the technology has also been released to certain corporate vendors who have attached catchy brand names like BrainSpeak, Silent Subliminals. SSSS is a technology that uses subliminal programming that is carried over ultra-high frequency broadcast waves, planting inaudible messages directly into the subconscious human mind. Perfected more than 20 years ago by the Department of Defense, battlefield tested upon unwitting Iraqi soldiers in the Gulf War. It's a sinister weapon that may have been developed for a specific mission, the total subjugation of the American people. The all-digital TV signal means to deliver it into the minds of an unsuspecting U.S. populace. Whether that's true or not, it can be deployed by many different devices, including HAARP and Gwen towers, which would effectively blanket the entire nation at once. Judy Wall says that there is evidence that the U.S. government has plans to extend the range of this technology to envelop all peoples, all countries. This can be accomplished, is being accomplished by utilizing the nearly completed HAARP project for overseas areas and the Gwen network now in place in the United States. And of course, the government denies all of this. It's completely undetectable by those being targeted. It delivers subliminal programming directly to the human brain via the auditory system at frequencies that humans are incapable of perceiving as sound. No defense against it. Everyone on the planet is equally susceptible to mind control via SSSS, and there isn't any escape from it. As the UHF waves can be transmitted over very long distances from remotely located sources and will pass through walls and other objects as if they're not even there. The frequency 100 megahertz has been used for television and radio broadcasting for as long as there's been media. Even more insidious, though, is the fact that coupled with the use of supercomputers, an individual's unique EEG patterns can be digitally altered, then stored for rebroadcast via digital UHF. According to Judy Wall, who is the editor and publisher of Renaissance, a newsletter of the Bioelectromagnetic Special Interest Group, these computer-enhanced EEGs can identify and isolate the brain's low-amplitude emotion signature clusters, synthesize them, and store them on another computer. In other words, by studying the subtle characteristic brainwave patterns that occur when a subject experiences a particular emotion, scientists have been able to identify the concomitant brainwave pattern and can now duplicate it. These modified emotion signature clusters can then be broadcast over UHF carrier frequencies, just regular TV and radio signals, directly into the brain, where they can then silently trigger the same basic emotion in another human being. In other words, if the emotional signature cluster for, say, a feeling of hopelessness and despair is being fed directly into your brain via unseen radio waves, you will feel these emotions. The implications of this are quite literally mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling. Oh.
Hi everyone, it is July 13, 2020. Hi everyone, it is July 13, 2020. When Obama...
Stop. There are so many. Barry Trower on 5G. There is no safe place, nowhere to go. And this was a part 2. So part 1 was teachable moment. Mainstream media journalists, number of studies regarding effects of infrasound, extremely low frequency sonic weapons. Part 2, use and myriad effects of mind control weapons in the US and UK, modulated extremely low frequency through cell phones. I'm not going to read the titles of 200 and some odd videos that I have here. Hulu, quantum leap in electronic mind control and manipulation. 1977 Russian study regarding the biological effects of 5G millimeter wave. It is not good. So for all of you who are, I guess, maybe new to my channel, and I do get a lot of people who ask, do you know this? Do you know that? Yeah, I do. I took a deep dive for years, every single day. I do. And years and years and years ago, we had enough information to unite us, to organize something. And now, I don't even think any new information is actually getting in and sticking. Because you do get to a point where you just say, what's the point? New tech can beam voices directly into your head. No kidding. S-Squad, silent mind control via radio, TV, smart dust, or microwaves. How artificial electromagnetic frequencies alter body functions, entrains your brain, and the symptoms. Microwave radar warfare expert. Governments are targeting people. They can easily alter your mind. See radar and sonic weapons in use and hear how life is affected and humans controlled. Wow. Supercomputer mind control. Your emotions, persona, downloaded for complete control. From cell phone, blue light flickers. Cell phones are directed energy weapons and they control your brain and nervous system. Oh, here's the electronic warfare that I was talking about yesterday with Rumsfeld answering a reporter's, this was back in, I think, 2002. It was right before the Iraq war. Shock and awe, remember? Here. Wow. Okay. All right. Do you remember this? I hope the volume's okay. No, it's not. Oh. That's Norah O'Donnell. Yeah, when you look at our mainstream media reporters, they have become obedient little children when they weren't not too long ago. What has happened to them? Money changes people. The more money they get, the more success, the more notoriety, the more attention. It does change people. But yeah, when you know that we are being targeted with these frequencies, especially the extremely low frequencies, that can mind control individuals or the population in a region or a country, you have to wonder. So, this is our fabulous Donald Rumsfeld, Nora O'Donnell, talking about electromagnetic weapons.
Technology that you're developing to fight the war on terror, specifically directed energy and high-powered microwave.
Directed energy and high-powered microwaves.
Technology. When do you envision that you can weaponize that type of technology?
It is in, for the most part, the kinds of things you're talking about are in varying early stages.
Lie.
Do you want to do anything you would add?
I don't think I would add much. I think they are in early stages, and
You think, General Richard Myers, you don't even know? You don't know? You think they're in early stages of development? Research? Really? Are you that stupid? You and Donnie? Come on. They used the directed energy weapons in the Persian Gulf War, which I'll get to in a second.
and probably not ready for employment at this point.
But they had been employed, and they have been employed in. I remember reading an article that, you know, with each new development of weapons, they start wars to try the weapons out. And the Persian Gulf War, they were trying out SSSS weapons. But why don't we just listen to the next couple of seconds?
In the normal order of things, when you invest in research and development and begin a developmental project, you don't have any intention or expectations that one would use it.
God. Yeah. All right. This is exactly what I was saying last night. You know, in these wars, like Israel now using AI, Lavender, that's the name of an AI that is targeting individuals. The Gospel AI targets buildings and structures. And so now we see a lot of mainstream media headlines saying, oh my God, AI coldly targeting Palestinians in Gaza. Well, they say Hamas soldiers. Coldly, you know, with almost no human input. And everybody's up in arms. Oh, that's Israel. Look at the fucking United States. Look at what we did in Vietnam. You know, look at what we have done all over the world. The directed energy weapons were already being in use in the Persian Gulf, in the Iraq War, and, well, now they're used against civilians. Paradise. Lahaina. All the fires in California, and Portugal, and Tennessee, and Canada. And the list is long, as you well know. And we can't seem to do a friggin' thing about all of this evil. All right. Yeah. Geoengineering and bioengineering. The unmistakable link. Biological effects of radar's millimeter waves and why radar pulses powerfully at night. Use of sonic weapons increasing, symptoms many have. U.S. mind control weapons in Iraq. Psychotronic warfare against Americans. Smartphone weapon direct effect on your brain. I'll look into not too distant future. real reason for 5G. The military reasons. Weaponizing Earth with green energy. Here's a not widely known weapon promoted as good. Yeah, the wind. Wow, my brain is really, you know. It's going to get to the point where I'm just going to be playing charades with you. You know, those things that twirl around. They say it creates energy. It also creates a very lethal frequency, especially for the people who live around them. What we are seeing on radar: high frequency blasts, plasma experiments. DARPA advisor reveals conscious AI supercomputer used for mind control. Electronic warfare, worse now than ever. Oh boy. Learn the biological effects of Doppler radar pulsating during storms, adding to the electromagnetic saturation. Microwaves, extremely low frequency, manipulate nations' political decision-making. And Trump knows. That was 4 years ago. Is an invisible weapon targeting U.S. diplomats. Smart meters, electropollution, criminal assault, yeah. Sudden changes in the self due to ultra-low frequency. Alright, so I posted this video, 1968 frequency chart, which this was the original chart that was sent to me by a subscriber. And hi everybody, it's July 31, 2018. I'm going to try to do this quickly. Just go through. I'll play a few minutes of it, but it explains a lot. Radar penetrates foliage, generation brainwaves. This chart, 1968, they knew even what 5G, the 5th generation up there in radar land, would do. Absorbs oxygen, emits hydrogen cyanide, and FEMA just bought some. I'll just play a few minutes and I think this is the playlist link. But it is the original chart from, well, you'll hear what it's from. Through this frequency spectrum chart, which was copyrighted in 1968 by the Electrical and Electronics Engineers of the Rockwell Corporation. This was sent to me by a subscriber a long time ago. I want to thank that subscriber, but I have to just show you what is on this frequency spectrum chart. I'm not going to read just all of this. You can pause and read it if you want, but yes, this frequency spectrum chart illustrates man's and nature's activity in the use of electromagnetic energy as a function of frequency. We are all life is frequency. All life is frequency. The earth resonates a frequency, the Schumann resonance. When man has the technology that they can change these frequencies, that man has to make a decision. Well, I know that the frequencies can be used for good, or
It can be used to destroy life. Well, how am I going to use it? I'm going to use it to destroy life. And that's how they've been using it. Showing man's use and natural phenomena in simple terms of a common denominator, frequency. You are frequency. You are an electromagnetic being. Your brain operates on frequency. Every cell in your body operates on frequency. So we've been saturated in this 2G, 3G, 4G microwave spectrum 24/7 for many, many years. That has been doing an awful lot of damage, but this chart goes to the 5G, the millimeter wave, which we have been using already. The radar. And again, you can read this yourself if you want to. It's not that interesting. Incidences of such side effects, because they do have, as part of the chart, side effects. Well, those side effects, it indicates the frequencies at which experiments have been performed. And the chart is part of the publication of the Joint Technical Advisory Committee, Spectrum Engineering, The Key to Progress, March 1968. Just to show you, yeah, infrasonic, and it goes to sonic, and it goes up to ultrasonic, which ultrasonic, okay, that's where we're the Gwen towers. The ultrasonic frequencies, the ultrasonic attacks against those Cuban and Chinese, or China, the embassy personnel, Americans, they claiming that they were attacked with ultrasonic or sonic weapons. They having a broad range, but the symptoms were quite similar. They have these weapons, they're using these weapons. The Gwen towers emit within this spectrum. And those Gwen towers, those ultra low frequencies, are being shot off. Take a look at the National Mosaic, and my God, we are being attacked. Here, you know, the radio, the television, the Wi-Fi, radar, millimeter. So radar operates in the millimeter wave. They already have been using the millimeter wave. And guess how they can use it? They can use those Doppler, the radar Doppler signatures for security applications like detection and assessment of human activity at airports, power plants, well, anywhere. So, millimeter wave, 5G. If they, and it does make sense that this radar would be operating in the millimeter wave spectrum, because that's the military's bandwidth. So the military uses, you know, the radar. But why are they putting up all of those small cells all over the place? And I'll get to that, but I will tell you, they are putting up these small cells outside people's homes, outside stores, all over your neighborhoods, all over the community, because, well, you'll see, it's the active denial system. They want high resolution surveillance of you 24/7. They can use this to look into your homes. Now they can use the microwave. The Wi-Fi is also a surveillance. Yes, surveillance. Experimental. But see, I believe that they have been using these frequencies within the
All right, so this video just goes into obviously not an exclusive list of all of the symptoms, but they mention some very significant symptoms or side effects or adverse effects or effects. Here,
entire spectrum.
You know, water resonance, oxygen resonance. What does that mean? It means that that frequency can affect water. Oh, and we see water rushing in all of these floods. And but also the oxygen, you know, and water residents, dehydration, you know. Remember all of the videos where people were taking video of all of the water receding back into the ocean, and the ocean floor, like in Florida or places like that, and the ocean floor was completely dry. You see all of these dogs playing where there should be an awful lot of water. Remember all of that? Yeah. I sure do. Create dry conditions ripe for wildfires. Now, this chart and the video will tell you what the frequency is, but I can't read it. Is that 300 gigahertz? I can't. Water vapor absorption, resonant fear, resonant, I can't read that, I'm sorry, oxygen absorption in atmosphere, emits from hydrogen cyanide. I mean, we are really... This was 1968, okay, so emissions from hydrogen cyanide. Hydrogen cyanide is a chemical warfare agent, asphyxiant, interferes with normal use of oxygen of nearly every organ of the body. And FEMA just ordered 2,500 gallons of hydrogen cyanide. Electromagnetic energy absorbed by skin and skin nerve endings with sensation of heat. When irradiated, wing and leg of chicken extends. Ants align their antennae parallel to electromagnetic field. See the videos of the ants, the sheep, movies of people walking in circles. So, yeah, that was sonic weapons, proof cell phone towers used for mind control. God, the cooking of humanity. So much. So much. And you know what I found? That most aren't that interested anymore. Trump, 5G deployment, national security priority. That's right. Deploy 5G. FCC chairman, 5G, we won't study it, regulate it, have standards for it. Yeah, we're just going to put it out there. So, we don't know what the hell is going on with people, individually speaking. We sure do know that an awful lot of people are acting very immature, very. And they have no shame about it. We know that an awful lot of people are just cold. To everything that's going on. If we were still a well people, we would be out in our communities helping people. For sure, the elderly. If we were well adults, we would be going to these school board meetings, supporting the parents who are desperately wanting the end of all of these agendas. We would be involved. We would be involved. So, but for sure, there's still time. There is still time to face ourselves in the mirror, to be better than we are, to mature, to help those in need. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to ask, and I should have done it in the very beginning, but L78, I was checking out StreamYard yesterday because I don't like what's happening. I cannot figure out, for the first couple of lives, it was great because I had me in it continually throughout the live showing all of the information. And now, I don't know what the hell happened, but I can't get back to that. So I'm constantly having to use my webcam page for me to be in it. But I was thinking today, for 13 years, I have been slammed. For somebody who has been, I hate Christians. I hate Jesus. I'm always slamming Jesus. I'm trashing Jesus. None of that is true, and I would love it if people would have conversation with me in terms of what it is they hear that I'm saying, because frankly, I have said so many times, numerous times, Jesus is the best example. No other example exists in terms of how to live your life. How to live your life. That's a lot of praise. Now, I may not have the same beliefs as an awful lot do, but how is it that I'm trashing Jesus? I just would like to have, a reasonable conversation with people who hear something that I've not been saying. So I can do that on StreamYard. I can't do it with what I have right now. So and if anybody is willing, to have a conversation with me, those who think that I'm trashing Jesus and Christians and I hate Jesus and I hate Christians, and I would like to understand where that's coming from, because it's not coming from me. Definitely not coming from me. Do I like the hypocrisy that I see, that I've witnessed, that I have felt? No. That's very different from what a whole lot of people hear. So if anybody would like to have that conversation, you can leave a comment underneath this video when it posts, or send me an email. And on that note, yeah, help those in need. Extend yourself. And somebody left me a comment last night saying, when I work full time, I don't have time to do, I guess anything else. No, everybody goes shopping. Everybody can pick up a little extra food and drop it off at a food pantry. And when you're shopping, you can pick up a bag of cat food or dog food and drop it off at a local animal shelter. Yeah. There was an awful lot. I mean, I remember the days when I was working 14 hours a day. But somehow, there was time to do other things. So, I actually do Moonlight Sonata. I have thought that very often. Especially when, you know, confronted with wanting to do something that would be an inconvenience to me, and where does that come from? But it enters my mind. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? Well, the answer, it's not complicated. You don't have to sit and wonder about what Jesus would do. It's action. It's living, emulating to the best of your ability. So, thank you for showing up. I do hope to see you tomorrow night. I may StreamYard because I'm getting fed up with all of the problems that I'm having and just fed up in general. Ciao, guys. Stay safe.